One thing you might need to do to the clips that you've made for your science film is go in the edit and color correct them to make sure that all the clips look the same across the entire film. So let's have a look at how we do that in Adobe Premiere Rush. I've got my clips lined up here. This is all my B-roll. I've got drone footage and some interview footage and all that. So I just want to make sure that when I bring them into the timeline that they're going to look the same as each other, or they're going to color correct them and make sure they're natural. So specifically this one, I'm going to drag this one down and in, or add it in like that. It's going to import the file. And you'll notice this one looks a bit more blue. And just a little bit darker than I'd like. And that's the thing with color correction. You're just trying to make it look natural or as if it did on the day. This was early morning, it was up in the Alps, so it was actually quite blue, but it was just, this is a bit too blue. I didn't have my white balance correct on this. You can see that I caught Tamara off guard and she kind of looks around and I asked her to look off in the distance, all stoic and heroic like. So I just want to make sure that this is natural, that it's the right color and that it's correct. I'm not looking to grade it or add style in any way. I'm just looking to make it look natural. And then if I want later on to kind of stylize it and make it look like a filter or preset, then I can do that later. So to color correct this, we're going to come up here. And this is all the places where you'd find all the stuff you want to do. You've got graphics and effects. There's the color one, speed, audio, and crop and rotate. So we go into color. And you'll see that it adds a bunch of these things are presets. We don't want to actually go into these yet, but you know, there's area and bleach and cinematic and things all done there. So this is not color correction. This is more kind of color grading afterwards. So to make it look like a certain type of film, maybe. Actually, what I want to do with this is I want to go in and edit it, and I want it to be the correct kind of color. So I'll hit the edit button there, and you can see we've got all these different things to choose from. So we're going to work our way through this one by one and just make sure that it looks correct. So I can go for exposure to begin with and work my way down. With the exposure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it from one side to the other. And when it comes to color correction, it's non-destructive. You're not kind of doing this and you can't change anything again. It's good to just go back and forth and just see what it does, right? Like if you're not sure what exposure does, go back and forth and just see what it does. And then hopefully you'll land somewhere in the middle where you go, oh, actually that looks pretty good. Same for contrast. Adding contrast can make kind of the darks and the lights punch out a bit and the colors to punch out a bit. So add in a little bit more. You never want to go wild with these one way or the other, but add in that little bit extra in. Highlights will change what the brightest parts of the image is doing. So I'll add a bit of those, and then I'll lift the shadows up just to make it look so it's not quite as dark. And then temperatures, where we're going to change that what it looks like with our blue kind of cool temperature to it. We're going to change this. If I put it to the left, it's going to make it look even more blue. If I put it to the right, it's going to make it look more orange. Clearly on the day, I didn't have the white balance anywhere near right because I need to pull it all the way to this end for it to start looking pretty correct. So I'll pull it all the way up to around here. And then same goes for tint. This will make it look more green or more pink or more red. Don't need to change that too much. I'm really looking in this at her skin tones. And if there's a person in the shot, then it's the skin tones you want to look out for. It's kind of okay if other parts of the image don't look that right, but you really want to make sure that the skin on the person looks like the skin on the person in real life. With vibrance, then, that's kind of like a more intelligent version of saturation. So vibrance will pull up the colors that are a little bit less, or a little bit more muted within the image. So you push those up. Again, you go one way and the other. You see what it's doing. It's not taking all the colors and changing them, just the ones that it thinks pops out better. Saturation does do it with all the colors. So if you pull that down, it makes it monochrome. If you push it all the way to the top, it goes over the top. So if you want to reset these at any time, just double click it, and it goes back to normal. Underneath me then, there's some other options like faded film and sharpening if you want your stuff a bit sharper. You can see that if you go overboard with the sharpening, it's a bit too much or a bit too blurry, so I'll reset those. And don't go over the top with vignette either. You can really go a bit wild with that. So as it comes to color correction, that is literally all we're trying to do, is make it look like it did on the day, make it natural. If you can do that in camera, then get it right in camera. But if you're in a pinch and you need to change it after the fact, it's not ideal, but you can do it, and that's how you do it in Adobe Premiere Rush.